pay. As Donald Trump ratchets up the rhetoric, new details about Ottawa's plan to hit back.
We didn't ask for this, but we will not back down.
The real fear about what comes next for crucial Canadian industries.
It's devastating. It'll devastate us, and it'll impact quickly.
And the anger growing across the country.
The Canada-U.S. trade war didn't erupt overnight. It was the culmination of years of simmering tensions and shifting economic priorities. The catalyst came in 2018 when the Trump administration imposed tariffs of 25% on steel and 10% on aluminum imports, citing national security concerns under Section 232. This move stunned Canada, which had long been one of the United States' closest allies and largest trading partners. The idea that Canada, a nation with deep cultural and economic ties to the U.S., could be a national security threat was met with disbelief and outrage. Canada, a close ally and neighbor, was now facing economic sanctions. The Canadian government responded with strong opposition, calling the tariffs unacceptable and illegal. The justification for the tariffs was widely disputed. Many economists and trade experts argued that the national security rationale was unfounded and that the real motive was economic protectionism. Many experts argued that Canada posed no security threat to the U.S. They pointed out that Canada had been a reliable partner in both trade and security for decades. They saw the tariffs as protectionist measures. The goal was to protect American industries from foreign competition, particularly in the steel and aluminum sectors. The tariffs aimed to shield American producers from competition. This move was intended to boost domestic production and create jobs in the manufacturing sector. However, the move had immediate and far-reaching consequences. Supply chains were disrupted, and the cost of raw materials increased for American manufacturers. It disrupted a long-standing trading relationship. The tariffs strained the economic ties between the two countries, which had been built over decades of cooperation. The tariffs also set the stage for a series of retaliatory measures. Canada imposed its own tariffs on American goods, escalating the trade conflict and leading to a period of economic uncertainty. Canada refused to accept the tariffs without a fight. The Canadian government responded with retaliatory tariffs. These targeted a range of American goods. Whiskey, orange juice, and maple syrup were among those hit. These products were carefully chosen. They represented symbolic importance and economic significance in key U.S. states. The message was clear: Canada would defend its interests. The tit-for-tat exchange of tariffs escalated tensions. It also created uncertainty in the markets. Businesses on both sides of the border felt the impact. The trade war began to cast a shadow over the deeply integrated North American economy. The trade war inflicted real economic pain on both sides of the border. It wasn't just a matter of political posturing or economic theory. The consequences were tangible and far-reaching. Businesses, consumers, and farmers all felt the impact in their daily lives. Canadian manufacturers, particularly those in the steel and aluminum industries, were hit hard. These industries are the backbone of Canada's manufacturing sector, providing thousands of jobs and contributing significantly to the economy. They faced increased costs for raw materials. The tariffs imposed by the U.S. meant that Canadian companies had to pay more for the essential components needed to produce their goods, squeezing their profit margins and making it difficult to stay competitive. They also found their access to the U.S. market, their largest export destination, significantly curtailed. This restriction not only reduced their sales but also forced many companies to look for alternative markets, which often came with their own set of challenges and lower profit margins. American consumers also felt the pinch. The tariffs on imported goods led to higher prices in stores, affecting everything from groceries to household items. Tariffs on Canadian aluminum increased the cost of producing goods, in the U.S. American manufacturers, who relied on affordable Canadian aluminum, found themselves grappling with higher production costs. These costs were passed along to consumers in the form of higher prices. The increased expenses for manufacturers translated directly into more expensive products on the shelves. Everyday items, from cars to beer, became more expensive. The ripple effect of the tariffs was felt in nearly every aspect of daily life, making it harder for families to make ends meet. The agricultural sector, a vital part of both the Canadian and U.S. economies, was particularly vulnerable. Farmers, who already operate on thin margins, found themselves in an even more precarious position. Disruptions to dairy, pork, and other agricultural exports hurt farmers on both sides of the border. The uncertainty and instability in trade relations made it difficult for farmers to plan for the future, invest in their operations, or even maintain their current levels of production. The trade war did more than just damage economies. It strained the historically strong relationship between Canada and the U.S. The dispute eroded trust between the two countries. It also complicated the already tense renegotiation of the North American Free Trade Agreement, or NAFTA. The renegotiation, which ultimately led to the United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement, or USMCA, was marked by tough talk and hard bargaining. The trade war added an extra layer of complexity to the process. It fueled uncertainty about the future of North American trade relations. In recent months, there have been some hopeful signs. Both Canada and the United States have taken steps to mend their strained relationship, which has been under significant pressure due to ongoing trade disputes and political differences. These efforts are crucial, as the economic and political stability of both nations is deeply intertwined. Both countries have shown a willingness to de-escalate tensions. High-level meetings between diplomats and trade representatives have become more frequent, signaling a mutual desire to find common ground. These discussions have focused on a range of issues, from tariffs and trade barriers to environmental regulations and labor standards. In February 2025, the Trump administration temporarily halted the trade war with Canada and Mexico. This decision came after intense negotiations and was seen as a significant breakthrough. The suspension of the trade war was a relief to many businesses and industries that had been adversely affected by the tariffs and trade restrictions. The move, which paused proposed tariffs for at least 30 days, was seen as a positive step. However, much remains uncertain. Economic analysts have pointed out that while the suspension provides temporary relief, it does not address the underlying issues that led to the trade war in the first place. The temporary nature of the tariff suspension does little to inspire long-term confidence. Businesses remain cautious, and the stock market continues to reflect this uncertainty. Investors are wary, knowing that the situation could change at any moment, depending on the political climate and ongoing negotiations. The underlying issues that led to the trade war remain largely unresolved. These include disagreements over trade imbalances, intellectual property rights, and market access. Protests and public outcry against certain trade policies have also added to the complexity of the situation, making it clear that a comprehensive solution is needed. Both countries need to find common ground and rebuild trust. This will not be an easy task, as years of tension and conflict have eroded the foundation of their relationship. However, there is hope that through continued dialogue and cooperation, a new era of mutual respect and partnership can be achieved. This will require a commitment to dialogue, compromise, and a shared understanding of the economic realities of the 21st century. Both nations must be willing to make concessions and work together to create a stable and prosperous future. The path forward will be challenging, but with determination and goodwill, it is possible to bridge the divide and build a stronger, more resilient relationship. The Canada-U.S. trade war highlights the interconnectedness of the global economy. It also underscores the importance of diplomacy and cooperation in navigating complex economic challenges. Moving forward, both countries must prioritize dialogue and collaboration. They need to address the root causes of the trade dispute. This includes finding ways to ensure a level playing field for businesses while also recognizing the importance of fair trade practices. The future of the North American economy depends on it. The trade war has been a wake-up call for Canada. It has exposed the country's reliance on the U.S. market. Canada has long benefited from its close economic ties with the U.S. However, the trade war has shown the vulnerabilities of this dependence. Canada needs to diversify its trading partners. It also needs to build more resilient supply chains. This means reducing its reliance on any single trading partner. It also means investing in domestic manufacturing capacity. The Canada-U.S. trade war is not an isolated event. It is part of a larger trend of rising protectionism and trade tensions around the world. The U.S., under the Trump administration, has launched trade wars with several other countries, including China. These trade wars are disrupting global supply chains and creating uncertainty in the global economy. They are also undermining the rules-based international trading system that has underpinned global prosperity for decades. The world needs more cooperation, not less, to address shared economic challenges. The Canada-U.S. trade war has been a costly and unnecessary distraction. It has hurt businesses, workers, and consumers on both sides of the border. It has also damaged the close relationship between the two countries. It is time for a new chapter in Canada-U.S. trade relations. This new chapter must be based on mutual respect, cooperation, and a shared commitment to economic prosperity. The world is watching. The outcome of this trade dispute will have implications far beyond North America.